If high value men continue to keep sleeping with low value women, nothing is going to change. And I mean nothing as in like permanently. Every single like rich friend that I have, and by rich I mean as in just like me being online and me being in business as an entrepreneur for the past half decade to a decade, I've met a lot of very successful people. All of them, or I would say 90% of them, that are making multiple six figures, seven figures, especially one guy I know making eight figures. These men are trying to sleep with as many women as they possibly can, and half of it is ego and insecurity, half of it is clout. The other half is probably just to look at somebody else and say, look at me, I told you so that I could. But you have to think about this from a deep level here. As a man, in some level, I believe that what's been lost and what's actually not being talked about is that it's your duty and your job probably to yourself to be somewhat disciplined. Okay, I'm not going to use the term dedication. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the word disciplined. Okay, if you have sexual discipline as a man where not every woman can get your sex, okay, or you're not willing to give your sex away to every single woman, okay, there's going to come a level of respect or a level of desire or a level of some sort of prize that a woman would feel if she were to get it. Now think about this for just a brief second, because there's going to be a lot of YouTube keyboard warriors with faceless accounts that say, oh, okay, well, yeah, good thing that I'm not going to sleep with anyone regardless. Okay, hold, slow your roll, buddy. Here's the difference. Okay, there's a very big difference between having the ability to sleep with a woman and not, versus having zero options at all. Okay, zero options at all, not being able to attract any girl, and then using that as some sort of cop out where you just say, oh well, I'm disciplined over myself and I'm saving that. A big difference, because truthfully, most of the guys that I've seen who use that, or a lot of the guys who they'll use the religious card and they'll say, oh, because of this I can't. The problem is that what I see a lot of times is a lot of lack of self-confidence, and it's oftentimes a cover-up for inability to generate any options at all. So there's a big difference with this, but let's go back to my original point. Okay, say this with me. If high-value men, like literally say this, if high-value men keep sleeping with low-value women, nothing is going to change. I'm going to give you a couple reasons why, okay? Everybody online right now, it's very popular, it's very trendy, especially in these man or masculinity type channels, to say the saying, men lead and women follow. It's funny too, because if you hear these people talk, everybody, like, it's funny because you can tell majority of like the influencers all go and watch all of the other influencers, and then you can tell the buzz lines and the words that sound good, it's regurgitated crap that is common thought. And it's so stupid, because for a lot of them it's like, well, once you know one of their philosophies, you know all of them, and then what happens is it's everybody saying the exact same thing without individualistic thought. I don't really like that. Okay, think about this though. The common trend is people are saying, well, men lead and women follow. Okay, well, if you're a top 10% guy, if you're a top 10% income earner, if you're maximally attractive, or if you've maximized yourself, and you know that women are probably easily led astray, if the only place that you're leading them to is to the bedroom, do you understand that majority of them or all of them are going to follow? So it's like what you're doing is you're going to take their nature, which is slightly flawed in the aspect of probably willpower and being led astray despite like doing bad things. But you can just tell this. If you're a normal dude where you've been to house parties, you've occasionally been to like a clubs or bars, okay, you have had a social life, okay, that was me through my whole early 20s as I saw all of this. What you're going to see is women kind of like get off, they get off on the ability of doing something naughty. And that's just the fact. Some people might even say that that's original sin. I know that there's a lot of people who are religious or Christians on this channel. They say, well, that's original sin. Is the snake deceived Eden? Not Eden, excuse me. Eve, therefore, since she has a natural proclivity to that, that's how we're hardwired. I've seen guys say stuff like that on this channel. Well, okay, that may be true, but here's what I can tell you is, if the high value men are only leading them to the bedroom, or if they're trying to prove to themselves that they can sleep with this girl quickly, or prove to themselves that they can generate that option and then they have sex with her, it just confuses me, because these are the same men also saying that the more bodies a woman racks up, the harder it is for her to, let's use another man type video channel term, pair bond with anybody, and then all of a sudden she's like ruined forever. Well, what you're actively doing then is you're raising your hand and you're voluntarily saying, hey, you know, I am 100% going to purposefully lead this woman astray. I'm going to purposely make her indulge in this because I don't care. You know, I'm not looking out for her as a fellow human. I'm looking out for myself and my own ego. Ego protected. Oh, my ego is protected. I proved to myself I can sleep with another girl. Look at that. I proved to myself I could get her to have sex with me. Look how cool I am. Right? And this is the repeating trend that you're going to see. So it's like my fear is that, you know, a lot of these men that you look up to, or anybody online right now, TikTok, Instagram, these guys look up to that say that they're high value or that have fast cars or like a bunch of chicks. It's like, it's easy to paint that image and that facade, because when you do that and you put that in front of somebody, especially a man who's hardwired to chase success or to be somebody or to be something, that right there is 100% going to paint like an idolized picture. And for a man who wants success, it's 100% going to make him feel something on an emotional level, psychologically on the inside, that says, I'm not good enough. And see, if you can chip away at a man's ego, it not only makes it easy to sell them something, which you're going to see a lot of these people do, but it also makes it easy to manipulate them, because you can make that man feel less than. And no man deep down wants to feel less than, because deep down on a biological and intrinsic level, you know that the whole world is set up where there's somewhat of competition. Okay? That's just the first piece, though. The second reason why, if high value men continue to just keep sleeping with low, and that's the thing, is you have to reverse the mindset. You have to look at the mindset of giving a woman your sex, not having sex with the woman. Okay? Technically, she's the receiver. Okay, and if you are the prize, like you want to tell yourself, it should be a treat that she got you. Okay, the problem is, since men are not disciplined with themselves, since men are not disciplined with their own sexuality, okay, and yeah, I understand that it's hard. The same way like you want a woman to control her hypergamy and pair with you or be in a relationship with you potentially and not chase the guy who's a status level up, okay? Be faithful and not try and sleep with her boss if she's at work, not try and direct message a different guy who makes more money. If you're a general practitioner at an office and she's a nurse, not try to direct message or hit up the plastic surgeon, okay? If you want her to control that in some way, shape, and form, because that's going to be hard for her, and she's going to have to use some sort of willpower. Okay, she's going to have to use some sort of discipline to her own sexuality to guard that. Okay, as a man, if you're not going to use any discipline when it comes to your own lust, make no mistake, if you make money and you are successful, you are going to get ass. Like, that's a given. But you are going to be a guy who's going to have a very, very distorted life and worldview when you keep doing. So these are just like some of the things that I'm seeing. But to take this in an even deeper level, I want to make this point. Okay. The other point that I don't really like about this deep down is when I hear these things is it's like, well, if a woman, let's say a woman's hot for you, okay, and she's turned on by you, she thinks you're very sexy or you're attractive, there's this common preconceived notion that, like, if she has burning desire or genuine desire or like raw desire for you, she'll sleep with you no matter what. Okay? This is the common preconceived notion, that she'll sleep with you no matter what. And maybe to some degree that's true, but what about like, there is definitely instances with women where they, like, let's say you have a woman with a very low body count or even a virgin. What you're going to see is you're going to see that high value guy, if you want to even call him that, actively trying to fuck her. Well, if he's actively trying to fuck her, okay, what will happen is that if she says no, now it takes a chip at his own internal ego, or his own internal. Now he has insecurities. Am I not good enough? Am I not high value enough? If I would have made more money, if I would have been an inch taller, she'd have fucked me on the first night. I'm not going to talk to her, or I'm not going to continue this because I can tell she's probably not into me. Like, you have to understand that, like, there is some women out there who purposefully will try to guard your sexuality regardless of how attractive or how high status you are. Okay? There's women out there who will purposefully try to do that. The point of this message that I'm trying to say is that in some way, shape, or form, it might be more alpha. Okay? It might be less serving to you on a pleasurable level, but it actually might be more alpha if you have sexual discipline. Okay? Just for a second, I want you to scratch your head and say, what if she wanted to really sleep with me? Okay, what if she was turned on by me? She was expecting to sleep with me, but I didn't sleep with her. What would happen? You know, because what's going to happen is if you as a man too continue to fall into this like hedonistic ways of you're chasing and consuming so much pleasure, like, you're going to be losing a lot of your soul energy. And I know that sounds mystical and shit. I know that sounds woo-woo as fuck, but you're going to lose a lot of your, like, soul energy that you're giving that away to people. And keep this in mind, I'm saying these topics with experience. Okay, the reason why I'm not living, like, textbook, maybe some of these topics I'm telling you are not textbook, what you're supposed to say in the manosphere on YouTube. But, like, isn't that the point of having a YouTube channel? Isn't that the point of having content creators where you can tune into somebody that sees things from a different way? Because if you see something from the way of how everybody sees it, dude, that's like if you listen to a Democrat versus a Republican, they believe the exact same things. It's like a slew of millions of people that are just completely sucked into one thing because they were programmable. So, like, when you look at how so many of these people are so programmable, not only is their worldview based off what somebody else told them, but you got to understand somebody else had to make up that worldview. So it's food for thought. If high-value men keep sleeping with low-value women, women are going to consistently think that they're all entitled to a top 5% guy because at one point in their life, a 5% guy was willing to fuck them, and women do get attached very quickly after sex. Every single time I've fucked a girl, usually after 2 to 4 fucks, and she's usually completely attached at the hip for numerous amounts of months. That's just how they're wired. Okay, if that's just how they're wired, you have to really scratch your head and ask yourself, like, if men lead and women follow, like you want to tell yourself, if all of the men are leading them to the bedroom, like, bro, that's where they're gonna fucking go. Okay? That's where they're going to go, is to the bedroom if that's where you lead them there. Okay? If you take a high-value guy, though, or if, like, high-value men collectively, led by a deeper set of morals or code or boundaries or discipline or sexual discipline, women would still respect those guys just as much. Okay, the difference is she just wouldn't have sexual access to them. Therefore, when she would get an exclusive boyfriend or a husband one day, and she finally does get exclusive access to him, it means something to her. Okay, a woman can only rack up partners and have a high notch count if men are willing to fuck them. And if you're willing to fuck them, you have to understand they're probably going to do that. So if you're going to choose to be the seducer, then you're going to end up with women who are also very seductive. Okay? If a high-value woman, like you want to tell yourself, guards her sexuality, if a high-value woman has low notch count, I'm going to tell you this, when you actually see a true woman who is high value, meaning they don't take promiscuous pictures, they don't reveal a lot of skin, they truly try to keep themselves guarded from 99% of men because they understand what 99% of men are after. Okay, that woman is not going to be susceptible to the types of sleazy, seductive, raw, like the look, the game, okay, everything that a guy does to try and sleep with a woman. She's not as susceptible to that because she can see it. Okay, that's why what you're going to find is when men oftentimes use these principles of, you know, partying or game or leveling up or being high value or using money or going to clubs, all this stuff, you're going to attract a certain type of woman. Okay, you're going to attract the type of woman that is also, okay, engaging in modern day behavior to be seductive. You're going to be running into the women with the lip filler. You're going to be running into the women with the boob jobs. You're going to be running into the women with the fake butts. You're going to be running into the women who are status chasers on Instagram. Okay? It's funny too because all men know this stuff that I'm saying deep down. I just don't think a lot of men are strong enough to say it. Like, you know. Right? You know. I'm not saying I'm perfect. Like I said, I've engaged in all of this, therefore I have the ability and the wisdom to tell you the truth and to tell you what I've seen. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Okay, hit the like button if you'd like, comment and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.